As Koenigsegg, yep, he's got the advantage, but unironically the average ducks to the inside. What a move! But Koenigsegg accelerating back on the outside. And there goes Salty Bonkos to the inside, bashing door panels, sparks flying, smoke spraying. The Butler is going to go wide. Salty Bonkos on the inside. They're a little bit off the pace, but now accelerating all 500 horsepower. Hello and a happy Tuesday afternoon, evening, or Wednesday morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much, race fans, for tuning in to Virtual Autosports here live on Twitch TV, getting into the penultimate week here of Season 34 in the Forza Spec Racing Series using that 1956 Ford F100. We've got 2 races here tonight, then it all culminates next week, a week from tonight, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern, with our final finale of a mini endurance event. All right, so tonight you've got Watkins Glen full. You've got Homestead Speedway, 2 very interesting tracks to finish things out at as far as the 2 races per night schedule. And then when we hop into the mini endurance event next week out at Hockenheim Ring, the short circuit, that too will be an interesting one to watch. I'm Dustin Moore on the mic as always here with the FM4 coverage on Virtual Autosports, and you're taking a look there at the leaderboard. Entering week number 4, coming out of week 3, and yes, this does take into account a drop week for each of our drivers. So they have indeed built up 3 weeks worth of points, but we've taken the one that is their lowest week, the lowest total of the 3, and have dropped that. And so right now what you see is AMS Uticon at the top of the leaderboard with 197 to Cratrium's 194. Then you've got Slipstream at 176 tied with Corvid. Unfortunately, Corvid having some bad luck with the connection last week, and as a result drops down to 176 in terms of total points. Should be a lot higher if it weren't for those connection issues. Audrex with a 143. DOR Hocus working his way up the leaderboard as well. 130 tied with IPR Wolf in 7th position. SGR Chaos Fox with a 122. And I think really mathematically speaking, everybody to the left there, 1 through 8, is still in the running. But it would require AMS Uticon and Cratrium to have something devastating happen to them here either in week number 4 or 5. But for those folks, preferably both 4 and 5. Because really, again, the math is in favor for them in terms of staying in the running, but it's the skill of Uticon and Cratrium that is not in their favor as those drivers look to take it all the way to the finish line here, not only tonight but next week for the finale. Cratrium's in here, says, should be a fun night. Fingers are crossed. It should indeed. I have no reason to suspect it won't be a good racing night tonight. We've got Watkins Glen, the full track. Not just the short version where a lot of organized races have taken us, but to the full track, which gives you the boot and the heel there over there on the, I don't know if it's the far east side of the circuit or what, but a great little complex section back there. And then the Speedway going to an oval in the 56 Ford 100, F100. That's definitely going to make things very, very interesting to watch. Not entirely sure how that one's going to pan out, but that's cool. I like it that way. I like it to be unpredictable a bit. SVR Nemesis is in here. STR Shrek 420 is here. Dino Dado is dropped in. DWM Frog is here. I saw, who else did I see in here earlier? I thought I saw somebody else. Slow Motion Fire is in here. Very cool. So as you're watching with us here on Twitch, If you'd like to drop a hello there in the chat, be greatly appreciated. Of course, I would certainly welcome a lot more. If you want to talk about whether it be Forza Motorsport, or Forza Horizon, maybe you want to talk about Project Cars 3, which has been recently announced in the last couple of weeks. Assetto Corsa is coming out on console, and oh my gosh, it just makes me want to wince big time. It looks rough. Assetto Corsa on console looks rough. The frame rate issue and then the controller gamepad controls look very, very jittery. I don't know. I think PC is the way to go on that one, guys. I think so. Or maybe you want to talk about Rally 5, which is coming out and is taking a different approach alongside Project Cars 3. And I shouldn't say Rally's taking so much a different approach as Project Cars is. Project Cars is just decidedly saying, hey, we're going to go ahead and bow out of the Super Sim world, and we're going to go into this kind of arcadey world, which is perfectly fine. The more diversity in terms of the racing games, the better, because we can't have so many sims. We don't have that much time in the world to dedicate to racing. Speaking of diversity, folks, before we go any further, I do want to point out that Race Forward is kind of my spotlighted charity here for the week. Raceforward.org. You see their mission there, which says they catalyze the movement for building for racial justice in partnership with their communities, organizations, and sectors. We build strategies to advance racial justice in our policies, institutions, and culture. They're our spotlight charity of the week, and we're going to do that all throughout the virtual Autosports broadcast from this point forward. And then every Sunday, I'm donating $10 to not only this charity, Race Forward, but any other charity that, one, forwards the movement for racial equality, and then, two, any charities which support curricular or extracurricular activity for our youth. And then there's a third criteria in there, which I can't quite remember. But keep watching here on Virtual Autosports as I try to do my part to support some causes where there are people who very much have the know-how and are already in the thick of it. No point in me trying to go out and recreate the wheel. There's a lot of great organizations that are already started and have been long running and know how to get work done. It's a hard-fought battle, but they're getting work done. So raceforward.org, that's the one for me this week. If you want to check them out, that's their website. Back to the standings here as we get ready to go racing at the top of the hour with qualifying first out at Homestead, that full circuit. I'm going to have to double check once we get out here whether or not we're going to have the chicane on the back straightaway. Not entirely sure, but also a few more shout outs here. Matt6661, thank you so much for the host. SGR Chaos Fox says, Noom. Oh, wait. He's actually got an emote. So he's got an emote, forgot about it, and went with the emote after doing the text entry. So thanks for hanging out with us here on a Tuesday. And then Flip Mode is back again. Andy Berg is back in the I almost said the broadcast booth. He's not in the broadcast booth. He's over there in the Twitch chat, probably just enjoying, relaxing, feet kicked up, sipping a cold something. Maybe it's just an adult drink or a non-adult drink. I don't know. But Andy, great to have you here, watching the Forza Spec Racing Series as we get closer and closer to the end of the season here. And again, this is a huge night. I probably understated it just a minute ago, but this is actually a huge, huge evening. Kratrium has got to do everything in his power to keep Udakan from having a 2-win race streak here tonight. If Udakan locks in a victory for race number 7 and 8, that's going to make it terribly difficult for Kratrium to have a shot at the championship, no matter how well he does. Even if Kratrium is able to muscle a second-place finish in both races to AMS Udakan finishing first, that's not going to do well. That's not going to help him out. So Kratrium really has to pour it on here in week number 4. That's not to say that even if Udakan wins out here in week 4, that if something were to happen in week 5, that Kratrium math-wise may still be able to make it happen. The only problem with that, if you remember, is with the drop week rule in effect. If week number 5 happens to be Udakan's worst week, well, then depending on what happens here tonight, that starts to establish how high is that hurdle? How tall is that mountain that Kratrium has to climb? And I say it's a tall mountain, even though he's 3 points behind. That's a lot to catch up to, especially with a great racer that you're trying to track down and beat. All right, slow motion fire telling us that we're getting ready to go here, so we'll go ahead and get some game audio rolling for you. I'll go ahead and switch on over to the race itself, and then we'll come back and visit a few things here in just a little bit. Hey, can you guys let me know how the audio sounds as well? Because once again, I did some updates, some Windows updates yesterday, and once again, it has fiddled with my audio settings. So if you guys let me know whether or not I sound too loud, the game sounds too loud, or maybe it's just not a good mix, please help me out. I want you all to have a great racing experience, and that starts with me making the audio sound okay and good. So right off the line, it's going to be Audrex in that Risen car. You don't even have to see the gamer tag above his vehicle to know that that's Audrex, the AMD Risen vehicle, back after running a season 33, in the Wu-Tang Pontiac Solstice GXP. That was a change up. Game sound is a bit low. Okay, I can bring the game sound up a little bit. Thank you, Dino. And thank you, Dino, for the host, by the way. So Matt6661 and Dino Dado, both with the host. And then also, let me see if I can roll these back. Sometimes Streamlabs doesn't like me doing this, but let's see if we can do it. There we go. Carry out with 5 gifted subscriptions there at the end of our last broadcast on Sunday. 5 gifted subs. 5. He's hooking it up. He's back up to 27 now in terms of total subscriptions here on the channel. I just want to throw it out there. I'm not saying anything by I'm not suggesting anything by saying it, but he's getting very, very close to Not So Tin Man, who is currently the overall leader at 31. Audrex now through the toe of Watkins Glen Full, and you can see there on the back straightaway as we went through it, there is no chicane back there. And Flip Mode now coming in with a Tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much. Man, you guys are... This is the most subscribers that we've ever had to the channel. This period right now, right here, right now. And some of you folks took advantage of it for those who were interested in joining our Great American Go Left 500, which is happening here on July 3rd, and did some pre-registration. Pre-registration is now closed, and now the registration is open to everybody. We'll talk a little bit more about that here as we get into the broadcast, but just a quick little heads up for those of you who may be interested in participating. You'll want to sign up quick, because I think as we get closer to July 3rd, we're going to run out of grid spots really, really quickly. We've got some gift cards at stake for those events, and you don't even have to win. You don't even have to win the event to get a gift card. You just need to be in the top 50% of drivers who finish each stage. We'll have 3 stages. Again, I'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's get back to the action here on track as drivers are now crossing the line out here at Watkins Glen. It's a bit of a cloudy day as we jump back to, it's going to be SVR Salty Bonkos. What's up there, Big J? Saying, go on, boyos, go on. Let's see, who else do I have in here? Wolfie Ken's got a subscription. And so Carry Out gave a gift sub to Born as Ghost, Wolfie Ken's Tiny Brune Donator, Divine, and Andy Rushan. So if you guys weren't here for the end of Sunday's broadcast, well, congratulations and enjoy your Tier 1 subscription of Carry Out. And then again, thank you so much, Flip Mode, for dropping the Tier 1 sub here on the channel. If you've got Twitch Prime, you can also consider using your Twitch Prime free monthly subscription right here on Virtual Autosports, should you deem the channel be worth it. As we see now, Salty Bonkos coming back down toward the boot here on the second lap, the first flying lap of 3 qualifying runs out here at Watkins Glen. And here's SGR Corvid. And again, SGR Corvid unfortunately having disconnect issues here in Season 34, which has darn near taken him out of the running. I'm not going to say it has taken him out of the running, because mathematically, if something were to happen with Unicon and Cratrium, he is still in the equation, but in a much less likely position at this point, as he's got Tam Ocello's ghost to deal with there. The ghost of Tam Ocello. It's like I'm killing him off before he's even dead. Here he goes, Corvid into the toe and toward the heel. Dior Hoke is currently with the top time, and as soon as I say that, Audrex crosses the line with a clean 2:13.997. Let's go up to Cratrium. Big J saying, called it for the season, but I'll be watching. I completely understand. Fear of the fun, so we hope to be able to get you back in season 35, whatever vehicle that might be. The champion in each season of the Forza Spec Racing Series not only gets the bragging rights, that's what you always get in any community-based league or series, but then you also get to dictate what the vehicle is that will be run in the subsequent season, and in this case, season 35, as Cratrium comes back up toward the line for the beginning of his second flying lap, third of the session, and final at that. So he's going to try to set a better time. And actually, just as I say that, the No Coast Brewing pickup truck, I almost said car, comes across the line with a 2:12.782. Well done. SGR Corvid right now with the second best time. Slipstream in third. Hocus in fourth. Audrex with the fifth. Born as Ghost. And AMS Udakan currently showing as having the eighth quickest time out on the track. The quickest dirty lap will always be slower than the slowest clean lap. So you're looking for that clean lap first and foremost to get you pretty high up on the grid ordering, and then really pushing it for a fast time. DWM Frog redeeming 1,000 pit points here on the channel. If you want a chance at having at winning a $100 Steam Digital gift card, then make sure you're redeeming those 1,000 pit points every time you accumulate enough. Go ahead and redeem them. We'll give away that $100 Steam Digital gift card randomly. And you really only need just one entry to win, but the more entries you rack up and redeem, the better your chances. The odds of winning are all dependent on how many entries are received. Audrex coming back up to the line. He'll be the first one to conclude qualifying here out at Watkins Glen. Just 3 races remaining here in season number 34. It's always a little tear on the cheek moment there when we say goodbye to these cars. No, probably not. And a lot of our drivers, as we lose some frames, hold on, they'll come back to us. Come back to us, frames. There they are. I was just saying, sometimes it's a heartfelt goodbye to these vehicles as we end the season, but really, it's always exciting to see what the next one is. And, of course, how Soul Motion Fire and the champion decide, what performance it's going to have, what performance index will it sit at. And there goes Corvin across the line. Cratrium, though, with a 2:11.938. We'll see if that sticks here on the post-race results. Sometimes it glitches on us and doesn't give us the true best time. So we'll take a look here in just a bit. We've got drivers who are finishing up their final lap. There they go. And back to the lobby we return. And I'm not entirely sure what's going on now with the old broadcast here. It looks like it's stabled out. You guys let me know. I have been fighting some, I don't know what, as of late with regards to the stream. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's happening. Carbon TI with the Tier 1 subscription for 2 months now. Thank you very much, Carbon TI. Welcome back. I appreciate you extending that, and now you move away from the crash dummy helmet to the silver helmet. All right, let's go take a look at those post-race results and the quick lap times. You got to pay attention to that best lap column. Pay no mind to the position over on the far left. Audrex with a 2:12.714. Born as Ghost also with a 2:12, but that'll be an 8:04, so just a little under a tenth of a second there, the difference between Born and Audrex. Joe Beardy with a 2:20, Slow Motion Fire with a 2:17. He's probably hoping he could have knocked a little bit more time off of that. Modern Weapon there with the dirty lap. Remember when I said the dirty laps are always slower than the slowest clean lap? Well, Modern Weapon will find himself at the back end of the pack for the start. Salty Boncos with a 214.390. PXM Barney with a 214.847. Forgot to update that name on our leaderboard, formerly known as Enraged Barney. Mortismo with a 214.324. Hocus with a 213.961. Fox Jason D with a 218. Well done. Respectable time there, Fox Jason. Beer 98G with a 219.425. Got to go fast with a 215.875. Chaos Fox with a 215.488. And Cratrim with that quick time, a 211.938. Super quick. Super quick. Almost a full tenth of a second faster. Check that. Almost a full second faster than the driver who will line up opposite of him there on row number 1. And we get the loading screens here as Slow Motion Fire readies up the lobby. Corvid with a 213.259. Oh my gosh. He's done did it. He done did it. I think that puts Carryout up to 32 gifted subscriptions here on the channel. 5 subs going to T. Mila CA, Enraged Barney, Opposite Hale, Dapper Turtle, Bright Eyes 2000. Picking up a gifted subscription of Carryout. And yes, Carryout, congratulations. You've succeeded. You are now first overall with 32 gift subs here on the channel. CMD Slipstream with a 212.598. Tam Ocello with a 223.458. Grim at a 219. Gumby Greg with a 220. Amos Udakan, unfortunately, not able to finish qualifying, but did muster a 214.660. I think that'll be good enough for row 3. Row 3, I think? Maybe? Who knows? Who knows? And drivers, if you would like to have a chat with us, actually it's probably a little bit too late, but maybe in between this race and our next race out at Homestead, you know where to go. Head on over to the whatchamacallit, the interview queue for interview there in the FM4 Discord. I'll pull you into the broadcast booth and we can have a quick word. Born as Ghost saying thank you. Yeah, Born as Ghost getting hooked up there with the silver helmet. Enraged Barney. Oh my gosh. Yeeter Fam Gang with 300 bits. Welcome, Yeeter. Thank you, thank you. You guys are laying it on thick. I'm blushing a little bit here. Oh, thank you so much. And again, I always have to state this because I think it's kind of the spirit of the channel in its current stage, in its very infant stage. Hopefully we continue to grow here at Virtual Autosport. But all of these donations, all of these subscriptions go back directly to the stream. All right? I don't pocket this stuff. I put it back either into the stream for production value, whether it be I'm purchasing music so that I have my own licensed music. That way I don't get hit with the DCMA ban. Or just purchasing more equipment, whatever the case may be. But then more importantly is giving it back to you all in the form of giveaways. And we got a whole lot of them. I don't want to talk about them right now because we are about to go racing here out at Watkins Glen. But do know that everything that you guys are bringing into the channel, my goal is to turn it around and then help us continue to grow. And maybe get a return on investment for you. Like maybe this is an opportunity for you to say, you know what, I like this content. I think this content brings value to me. Oh, and yeah, I would love to be able to have a chance at a shot at picking up a prize, a raffle prize or whatever. We'll talk about that here after this first race has concluded. And now Carryout with another donation to the broadcast of 500 bits. Yeeter Fam Gang with a subscription to the channel. Wow. Chaos Fox with 150 bits. We're going to hear that air wrench all throughout the broadcast, aren't we? You guys are going to just deploy the bits. That's fun. That's fine. You keep bringing them in. The little alert will keep on rolling for you. Depressed Millennial saying, I'll race my best tonight for you, Dustin. Or for you, Bright Eyes. I jumped to conclusion there with Depressed Millennial's message, but it's Depressed Millennial, who we talked to at the end of last week's racing, there in week number 3, who said that Bright Eyes 2000 was here. That's his girlfriend or fiance or wife. One of the three. Saying that he's going to race his best for Bright Eyes 2000. There you go. Drift06, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Andy Dershawn, thanking Carry Out once again. I'm rooting for Gumby Greg because that's a dope gamer tag. I know. It's almost like I say this in an endearing way, so don't take it to be offensive. But it's almost like kind of like horse racing with gamer tags. Like in real world racing, we know the driver's real names, so we can relate to them in that sense. Oh yeah, that's Dale. That's Rusty. That's Bobby. We know their real names. That's Mario. Here in the esports world, or at least in our events and some of the professional events, which haven't yet moved on over to people's real names, it's almost like a horse racing thing where I'm spouting out these funky gamer tags, which is fine. I mean, I love the uniqueness of all the gamer tags. And oftentimes there's a story behind it. So it's always intriguing to ask people where did their gamer tag come from. By the way, we've got 21 drivers on the grid just waiting for AMS Udakan, who may be having some issues right now, and it would appear that they're waiting for Udakan to maybe get that all sorted out. Dino Dado says, heck yeah, I always go for the craziest horse names. Yeah, and that's where I was going with that, where you're like, if you're like me and you know nothing about horse racing and for whatever reason you find yourself in a position of like rooting one on, which is pretty much non-existent to me. Like, I don't know. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen a horse racing event. But the point is, you just kind of pick the one that sounds cool in flip mode, doing that with Gumby Greg there. Oh, and by the way, thanks for the hype train. Look at that, a level 3 hype train. We'll take that. I don't know what our highest level has ever been, but level 3 sure seems like it. I think it'll spit out some emotes after this, too, after the hype train is ended. So, congratulations. Choo-choo, race fans. Choo-choo. All right, let's go hang out, put our camera on CMB Slipstream. He's going to be opposite of Kratrum here on row number 1. Row 2 will go to Audrex and Born as Ghost, SGR Corvid, and Hocus on row number 3. Muertismo and Salty Bancos there in 4. Top 10 is rounded out by MS Udakan and PXM Barney. Chaos Fox, Gotta Go Fast, Slow Motion Fire, Jason D. Beer, Grim, Beardy, Gumby, Tam, or Tom Morello as I like to call him or her, and Modern Weapon. They're 11th through 20. Bright Eyes 2000 says, always rooting for you, Millennial. Aw, isn't that sweet? All right, drivers are lined up on the grid. Kratrum will go ahead and set the pace here for everybody. As soon as he moves in that No Coast Brewing car, everybody else is free to go. Kick the tires and light the fires, ladies and gentlemen. Season 34, week number 4, is underway here in the Forza Spec Racing Series with the 56 Ford F100. Into the right-hander they go, and this is always going to be a cluster the first time out. And it looks pretty clean so far. We've got AMS Udakan. Looks like he's going to run wide, use a little bit of that runoff area to pick up a spot or two, or maybe just stay out of the way of some of the drivers. And now into the chute they go. Slipstream still back there in second position on Kratrum, who's starting to quickly depart. In third, that's Audrex. In fourth, that's Corvid, Born as Ghost, Hocus, Udakan, Muertismo, Chaos Fox, and PXM Barney, all in the top 10. No chicane? Check that. Chicane is back out, and they'll cut on through, trying to keep it as clean as possible. Don't want to have a bunch of John Deere lawnmowers now into turn number, I believe this is 6 or, I don't know. I don't have my track map in front of me. I lost it. Here we go, down the hill now. It is the full circuit for 14 laps. We aren't doing the short circuit, what you're maybe used to in a lot of organized league races. No, no, no. We're out here at the full shebang, and now into the toe they'll go. Slipstream still back there in second position. Let's look a little further back with AMS Udakan, who has now jumped up a spot to number 6 after getting around DOR Hocus there in the Gulf livery. F100 down the bottom part of the boot up to the hill. Dino Dado says, I'm racing here this week, and iRacing, it's crazy how much of the runoff is clean in turn number 1. Yeah, those are those real-world track limits, right, that we just don't have here in Forza Motorsport 7 yet, or any Forza Motorsport title. Hopefully, maybe in forthcoming renditions or iterations, we will see the track limits expand to accommodate what might be more realistic or more real-world allowances. Back into the final right-hander here on lap number 1 toward the start-finish line. Lap number 2 starts now. Flip Mode saying that Watkins Glen and iRacing is not a good scan. Really old, if I remember. Yeah, I think it was. Like, just looking at it, you could tell it's one of the earlier tracks that they built out. And I'm not even talking about the nature of the road surface either. I'm just talking about how it looks. It looks antiquated in iRacing. Audrex there in 3rd position. 4th is Corvid. 5th is Born as Ghost. Udakan still there in 6th position. Let's go ahead and ride on board here with the Udakan on board the F100 as he hits the chicane. Again, trying to keep it as clean as possible. You don't want to cut the corners. Now into the right-hander. Trying to chase down Born as Ghost there in 5th position. Corbin runs wide. Almost taps the guardrail, it appeared. Maybe just missed it. We've got one more week after this, and there goes Udakan to the inside of Born as Ghost. Going to be able to make the pass, and now into 5th position on the back tailgate of SGR Corvid. So Born drops back to 6th. Mortismo in 7th, Hocus in 8th, Chaos Fox in 9th, PXM. I always want to say PMX, but it's PXM. Barney in 10th position. Udakan now creeping around, looking for a place to pass, and there goes Born as Ghost. Gets tied up into the tire wall. That drags him like a magnet into the guardrail, and probably is going to lose. Well, I say that, but is not too far behind. Is able to get back out onto the track, make a pretty good recovery before 7th, 8th, and 9th catch up to him. Across the starting line for the beginning of lap number 3 of 14. Back into turn number 1. Let's go to Mortismo in 8th position. Carbon says, let's go Udakan, and Flip Mode asking about the points. Yeah, Flip Mode, it's really hard to tell. Even if Craytrim wins out here in week number 4, then that will still leave week 5 up to decide things. Really, the two names that we're watching here in these last 2 evenings of racing are Udakan and Craytrim. There are other drivers who mathematically are still in the running, but that would have to that would require a devastating performance by Udakan and Craytrim, either just really bad run and they finish at the back of the pack, or disconnects, which obviously we're not wishing upon anybody. But it will take a lot for our drivers who are currently 3rd through 8 on the overall leaderboard to have a shot. It's the 2 drivers at the top. Udakan currently with 197 points to Craytrim's 194. 50 points per race are up for grabs. And next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, being that it's just a 1-race event out at the Hockenheim Ring short track, that event counts times 2 in terms of points. So then they take your top 4 weeks of points out of the 5 weeks, drop your lowest one, and that's your championship point total. CMB Slipstream says, if you can read this, bump draft me. Well, he's all by himself right now. They're in 2nd position, trying to keep tabs of Craytrim, who is driving exactly like he needs to be driving right now. Could probably use a little more oomph, though, as Udakan is climbing his way up through the field, up to 4th, and now trying to get around Audrex. I appreciate y'all tuning in to Virtual Auto Sports here live on Twitch TV. I'm Dustin Moore on the mic with the call. And we'll be here all throughout the evening and a week from tonight for the finale. If you're enjoying the content, please click that follow button. Here comes Uticon now out of turn number 1. Setting his sights on the outside line, but Audrex, I mean, there was really no pass opportunity there. Let's see if he does it, or at least attempts to make the move here at the chute. Another tricky section, and Audrex might just be saying, hey, you know what? I've got no pace on you. Go ahead. He gives Uticon the inside here through the first part of the chicane. They'll go door to door, wheel to wheel, and Uticon now jumps out in front and up to third. Nice pass, says Dino Dado. It was indeed. I can't help but to think that Audrex was saying, hey, you know what? I know I can't hold you off for another 11 laps, so go ahead. Born is Ghost now dropping to 6th position. Let's go to Born, who has an identical paint job to that of Slipstream. So if you're thinking, man, this vehicle looks oddly familiar, well, it is. As we go back to that identical paint job there. CMB Slipstream in 2nd position as AMS Uticon now about 2.5 pickup lengths of separation between 2nd and 3rd. Into the right-hander. Line it up. No pit stops required in this race. However, they do have contact turned on, simulation damage turned on. So you got to be careful. A pit stop in these races is a crusher. It'll take you a long time to catch up, knowing not everybody else has to pit, and oftentimes you don't catch up. Back up the hill again through the chute goes Slipstream, who's been able to shed the tackle of Uticon there a little bit. He was closing in a lot quicker. Maybe a little bit of a miscue there on lap number 4. Audrex in 4th, Corvin in 5th, Born as Ghost is 6th, DOR Hocus in 7th, Chaos Fox in 8th, Muertismo in 9th. Let's go to Salty Boncos there in 10th position. See how he's faring. A lot of scrapes, missing paint there on the driver's side of the F100, and a few bumps and bruises there on the tailgate as well. Salty Boncos trying to climb back up through the field. Currently in the top 10 spot. He's going to run a little bit wide and even slide the back end there of the F100 as they go down the hill now. Dino Dado saying this would be a cool series in real life. It would be. If you can find enough F100s that are worthy of racing. Oh, it looks like we may go 3 wide here. Nope. Muertismo able to get up the hill just in time. Moves out in front of Chaos Fox. And now here comes Salty Boncos to the inside of Chaos. To the heel, and even going to try to make a run on the inside of Muertismo. They're going to go almost 3 wide there at the heel before Salty goes ahead and lets off. Chaos Fox is going to run it well wide off into the runoff area and even brings it across the grass before jumping out in front of Salty Boncos. Salty Boncos with a bit of a slide job there again into the left-hander, the final, the penultimate left-hander here at Watkins Glen Full. And so he had a shot to grab 2 spots and instead drops back 2 steps forward, 2 steps back into the right-hander and up to start lap number 6. Let's return to the front of the pack. It's still Cratrim who's leading them around. Slipstream has now fallen back to 3rd position, meaning that Uticon has moved up to 2nd, and now with a little bit more than half the race remaining, let's see if Uticon's going to be able to catch up with Cratrim, make the pass, and pick up 100 points to get him that much closer to a Season 34 championship and that much closer to back-to-back Season 33, Season 34 championships. HDM Booty Juice is back saying, "Aye!" Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Slipstream down the hill here. Trying to close it back in if he can find Udakan making a mistake, which we did see Udakan make there out at Sonoma Raceway. A little bit uncharacteristic of him, and the reason why he lost that one. All right, so we've got a little bit more separation here. Let's go to Chaos Fox, who's now fallen back to 10th. Salty Bonkos has moved up a spot. And now here comes Chaos Fox, who's going to try to get that spot back from Salty. Meanwhile, Mortismo with the plaid tailgate has got them both all locked down, closes the door, and up the hill they'll go. But Mortismo running it a little bit wide coming up the hill, which is going to give Salty Bonkos a look. And let's see as they come down the back straightaway. And oh no, are they going to try to go 3 wide once again into the heel? Nope. Oh, and Chaos Fox right there onto the passenger door of Mortismo. And Salty Bonkos, sure enough, moves up to 8th position. But it's not over yet. Mortismo is going to continue to challenge. Chaos Fox up onto the curbing. Brings it back in. And they'll go single file into the left-hander. A little bit of ominous skies here, but it is not going to rain. No rain at this track here in Forza Motorsport 7. There goes Chaos Fox onto the rear right quarter panel of Mortismo. Mortismo able to hold on to his pickup truck, doesn't get it spun around, and across the line they'll go 8, 9, and 10. Salty, Mortismo, Chaos Fox, respectively. Back behind them, that's going to be PXM Barney in 11th position, who's making a move there with slow motion fire on the inside. Behind them, it's Joe Beardy, got to go fast, Modern Weapon. And then a little bit further back in 16th is Beer. Then it's Grim, Fox Jason D, Gumby Greg, Tamo Cello. 20 drivers of the 20 who started this week number 4, race number 7 of the season. And now a lot more spacing here, first, second, and third, with Kratrium, Udakan, Slipstream. Let's go to Audrex in 5th, trying to grab a spot back. Audrex was as high up as 3rd, and now he's got Corvid out in front of him in 4th, who again has had all kinds of issues here in Season 34, which has effectively made it less likely that Corvid will be vying for the championship, especially at this point, with Kratrium and Slipstream, or excuse me, Kratrium and Udakan leading the race. The proverbial nail in the coffin quickly coming for much of our drivers here in the season, but that's okay. No matter your skill level, get out here and race every week. Get better. Learn the format of the season or of the series. And come back out here for season number 35 and have a go at it. Maybe you be the next champion of the Forza Spec Racing Series. Great group of guys and gals. So if you want an inviting league to participate in, this is the one. Reddit.com/r/FM4. That's the place to go. Nightbot has kindly dropped a link in there. The pit lane, or the Twitch chat as it's otherwise known. Comes the AMD Racing vehicle of Audrex back into turn 1 here. Lap number 8, that 15th lap there in the upper left, that'll just be a cool-down lap. We are for sure just heading to the line, the checkers, at the end of lap 14. Through the chute. Morna's Ghost still hanging out there in 6th position. Hocus in 7th. Salty has fallen back. So Salty, who was making moves there, now in 8th. Chaos Fox in 9th. Mortismo in 10th. And I'm mistaken. Salty's where he's been. He is where he's been. He is where we thought he was. Porter's Ghost now taking it into the boot. And let's see. Here on the this straightaway, then you've got the backup hill part. So a lot of undulation out here at Watkins Glen. But a pretty quick track. Carbon says, Dino, you got to get in for season 35. There's a lot of folks who should be running here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Soul Motion Fire does a bang-on job putting this league together, and I get it. A lot of times it may conflict with people's schedule and what they've got going on. But if you've got the time, anybody, seriously consider FM4. This is one of the longest-running Forza Community Leagues that you will find. They've been doing this since Forza Motorsport 4. As a matter of fact, the name of the series really is the FM4 series. That's what they call themselves, and that's what they named it back in the Forza Motorsport 4 days, not thinking that they would be around all the way in Forza Motorsport 7, apparently. But that's why I refer to it as the Forza Spec Racing Series. Makes it a little bit clearer as to what they're doing and not as confusing. We're not racing in Forza Motorsport 4, no. Dino says, not in Forza, not in the Forza Spec Racing Series, but in 3050. Yeah, Dino was in there in 3050, and we've got a lot of interesting things to talk about. We'll do that here in the intermission about what's ahead on Virtual Autosports. These next 3 weeks are gonna be crazy, just real crazy. And I'm not just saying that for the sake of hyping it up. Like, when we take a look at the schedule, if you're not excited about what's coming up here on Virtual Autosports, then I don't know. I can't help you. Let's go to Audrex in 5th, who is still battling it out here with Corvid. The fight in the top 3 is dissipated significantly as Cratrium has now established a phenomenal bit of separation out here. I'll be interested to see what Cratrium's top time is going to be. Carbon says the Gaggle, the Great American Go Left 500, is going to be a blast. It is. And that's one we'll talk about because registration is now open for everybody. It's a satirical name. Everybody's welcome to participate. And yes, it is a NASCAR event out at Daytona. And yes, we are running 500 laps across 3 stages. It's going to be a lot of fun. Across the line goes Cratrium, beginning lap number 10 here. So 5 laps remaining in this race. Seemingly one of the longer races on the schedule. This one seems to have gone a bit longer than most of them do. As Audrex now closing in on that back tailgate of Corbett. Let's see if he tries to make a move here. It'd be very daring into turn number 1. Corvett's going to run it wide. Bring it back on. Tuesdays are reserved for touring car. Yeah, for sure. And that's completely understandable. Don't take touring car Tuesdays away from us. We won't have that. Watkins Glen always seems longer than most, especially when it's the full track. And Slow Motion Fire, I think, mainly sets the lap number to time these events. Although sometimes they'll go a little bit longer than others by a few minutes, but usually keeping them all on tap for around 45-50 minutes long. If that. I mean, it's actually probably more so around 35 to 40 minutes. You include qualifying, and it's around 50. And yeah, keeping it within about a 2-hour window for these events. So if you are interested in the Forza Spec Racing Series but aren't yet quite sure about the time commitment, just plan on about 2 hours. That's the safe target. And more times than not, they'll throw some time back at you. if everything is running on schedule or ahead of schedule. As we continue to see Audrex here, this is our closest battle in the top 5 between Corvin and he. And Audrex, we hear the sound effect. We didn't quite see it, but it sounded like he got onto the back tailgate or bumper there of Corvin. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to drop a hello. Maybe tell us where you're watching from. You don't have to get super specific. I'm always kind of curious what corners of the world our viewers are from. And then, of course, let your friends know about this series. And even if they don't want to participate, maybe you can get them to come hang out with you there in the chat. Watch the race together. Maybe pick a favorite driver out there. Root them on. Borna's Ghost in 6th. Let's go to Hocus here in 7th position in the orange and blue Golf livery. Carbon is watching from his couch. Ah, yes, the good old country of Couch. Good place. Good vacation spot. Especially these days, right? Especially these days. I hope you all are staying happy and healthy as we continue to march through summer in this very odd world, odd predicament of a life we're leading here. And here comes Hocus. There in the background, you see 5th of Audrex, Corvin in 4th. So those two have not changed position, and Cratrim just continues to be dominant in this race. If it continues like this, he's going to be uncontested and will pick up the checkers in 1st. But let me not lay down the commentator curse. Out in the desert, Mountain Standard Time. Oh man, I'm a desert boy myself. Not anymore. I'm here in South Central Texas. Yeehaw! But spent many a years living in Arizona and Nuevo Mexico. Comes DOR Hocus now through the right-hander back toward the start-finish line for the beginning of his lap number 12. And starting to lose sight of Borna's Ghost there a little bit. Let's return to the Corvid Audrex show. The battle for 4th. Big J Bishop says, I'm existing in Central West Florida. You're existing. Well, hopefully you'll be able to do more than just exist soon enough. And get nice and healthy soon. Trademark. A little run through the field. Cratrim in 1st, Udakan in 2nd, Slipstream is in 3rd, Corvin and Audrex, who we're watching right now, 4th and 5th respectively. Borna's Ghost in 6th, Dior Hocus in 7th position, Salty in 8th, Chaos Fox in 9th, Slow Motion Fire in 10th, Mortismo is 11th, then it's Joe Beardy, Modern Weapon, Gotta Go Fast, PXM Barney, Beer, Fox Jason, Grim, Gumby Greg, and Tam Ocello, 11th through, or actually 12th through 20th. Let's go to Slow Motion Fire here in 10th position. He's got there in 9th, Chaos Fox. Good climb for Udakan. Yeah, after starting out in row number 4, I think it was. Maybe even further back. Maybe it was row 5. Definitely has climbed through. Just, I don't think has got enough laps in this race. Enough mileage to overcome the lead that Cratrim has put down. Chaos Fox entering today's race in 8th overall on the overall leaderboard there with 122 points. 8 shy of IPR Wolf, who is tied with Hocus at 130. Yeah, Craytrim went to another notch on the better go fast. I almost said better gotta go fast. The driver gotta go fast, who's usually racing here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. But no, Craytrim definitely on a different fast mode at this point. As we see Slow there in the No Coast Brewing livery as well. It appears he has lended one over to who is that who has one as well? Our race leader, Craytrim. Representing the No Coast Brewing Company. I'll take existing right now. Sometimes you just got it for a while. Well, hopefully we're making the Tuesday evening for you a little bit better. Not only Fear the Fun, but anybody else who's watching us here on Twitch TV. Greatly appreciated. Week number 4, week 4 of 5, so we've only got one more week to go. That'll take place a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. But the Forza Spec Racing Series season number 34, and they're all racing the exact same Ford F100 in terms of the upgrades. Takes them up to D400 Performance Index here in Forza Motorsport 7. As we see Craytrim dealing with lap traffic of Tom Ocello. Let's go back where we've got a battle here. Audrex in 5th with Corvin in 4th. They all have the exact same upgrades, but what's different about them is the ability to tune them, and then, of course, the driver who's sitting behind the wheel, or the thumbsticks, depending on if they're on a gamepad or a control or a steering wheel. Most of these drivers are on a gamepad, if not all of them. Very rarely do some of the drivers break out with the racing wheel. However, that might become an exception here in race number 8, our second race of the evening, as Homestead is on the calendar for us next. Head down to Florida, the virtual world of Florida. As Audrex now through the chute. Still trying to keep pace with Corvid and then maybe look for a move here on this final lap, lap number 14. Big J saying that Joe pulled out his... Who's Joe? Which one is Joe? Oh, Joe Beardy. Yeah, of course. I was waiting for the Joe Mama jokes. I thought for sure that was coming next. Yes, Joe Beardy. Back up the hill. Back up the hill. Hill. And through the heel is Craytrim, who's charging back to the line for the checkers. We'll hang out here with Audrex and see if either Corbin makes a mistake or if Audrex is going to push it hard to try to pick up a few extra points here by grabbing 4th. Corbin, who's run wide maybe 1 or 2 times out of the heel. Nice and clean that time through. Now past the other overhead fence, the arching fenceway here out at Watkins under cloudy skies into the left-hander. Come on, I'm mature, but I'm not that mature. I still make fart jokes and rate burps on a scale of 1 to 10. You do you there, Fear the Fun. And there we go. Corbin in 4th, Audrex in 5th, but not before. Slipstream in 3rd, Udakan in 2nd, Craytrim in 1st, and then back behind 4th and 5th. In 6th will be Born as Ghost, Hocus in 7th, 8th is Salty Bonkos, 9th is Chaos Fox. Let's go to Slow Motion Fire here, who's in 10th and has 1 turn remaining. Not going to be able to make it happen. Slow will pick up 10th position with Chaos Fox in 9th. 11th we'll go to Mortismo. 12th is Modern Weapon. Let's go to PXM Barney here in 13th position. And is actually side by side with Gotta Go Fast, and back to the line they come. Gotta Go Fast is going to go along the pit wall line, and is not going to be able to go side by side with Barney. Barney picks up 13th. Gotta Go Fast in 14th. 15th will go to Joe Beardy. Beer in 16th. Fox Jason is 17th. Grim in 18th. Gumby Greg in 19th. Tam Ocello or Tom Morello in 20th position. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and take note of where everybody finished. I'm going to run some ads. For those of you who are subscribers, you're not going to see any ads, but thank you so much for your support. And for those of you who do see ads, if you could just hang tight, get through them. It supports the broadcast in ways that you have no idea. No, it marginally supports the broadcast, but it does. And more significantly, for anybody who joins our broadcast a little bit later on, they can avoid those pre-roll ads. So hang tight. You won't miss any of the action, I promise you. The only thing I'm going to be doing between now and the end of those ads is just taking note of where everybody finished out here on the track. We'll get back. We'll go into our driver spotlight, have a word with some of our drivers. We'll talk about what's coming up next here on the Virtual Auto Sports broadcast, all that and more. I'm Dustin Moore, and this is Virtual Auto Sports here live on Twitch TV. And while I've got some of you here in the next minute and a half while we're waiting for those ads to complete, don't forget about our Pit Points raffle that's taking place between now and June 28th. If you include tonight's broadcast, you have just 6 broadcasts remaining to continue to build up those Pit Points, and you could do so by just watching the channel. There is no purchase necessary. It's using the Twitch channel point system, and every time you earn 1,000, redeem them like Cratrin, Carbon, Enraged Barney, Carry Out, Big J Bishop, like those guys and gals have done. And that way you get an entry into our June 28th raffle, or at least we'll be concluding it and then giving it away on June 28th, a $100 Steam digital gift card to one lucky winner. All you got to do is watch the channel, earn points, redeem them. Even if you have fewer entries than some of the other folks, it only takes one to win. Just one entry is all it takes to win our raffle. That'll happen on June 28th. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Virtual Auto Sports here live on Twitch TV. I don't see any drivers in the driver's spotlight. I don't know. Maybe they're just shy here tonight. Nobody wanting to chat before we go into race number 8 out at Homestead. Of course, if anybody is thinking about it here as we prepare to get into qualifying, then feel free to jump over to that queue for interview section, just as SGR Chaos Fox has done. And Chaos Fox finishing out in 9th position behind Salty Bonkos, in front of Slow Motion Fire. You and Slow Motion Fire were battling it out for a little bit, and you got the better of it.
Yes. Before that, I was battling with Martismo. I was able to get by him, and then Slow caught up, and then for the rest of the race, we had a really good battle. I was just able to keep Slow behind my rear bumper, but the two of us are extremely equal when it comes to driving skill, because we can't seem to get the better of one another, whether I'm behind him or he's behind me. There seems to be this barrier none of us can cross whenever we get on the track together like this.
Well, I mean, it's great, and it makes for awesome racing mid-pack, and consistently you're in the top 10. I think only falling out of that a couple times, maybe 1 or 2 times here in season number 34. Talking with Chaos Fox, part of the SGR team racing here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Amos Udakan telling us in pit lane that he's just done with this vehicle. How do you feel about the Ford F100 now that we're 7 races in with just 2 remaining?
Honestly, I like this truck. But then again, I prefer really lower classes, maybe less grip or anything. The truck can be a handful. It keeps you like 110% on your toes, but I kind of like that. The truck's a challenge to drive, and it's extremely satisfying when you get like a good finishing position at the end of the race. It's a love it or hate it thing with this truck, I will say that, but I'm enjoying this season with the truck. Actually, this is, out of all the seasons I've been a part of, I've actually had the most success with this truck, even though it's the most difficult to drive.
And now, as we head out to Homestead, the oval, the speedway, not the road circuit, what, if you're willing to divulge, what is your approach? What line works best for you in this truck?
From my time at practice, there doesn't really seem to be any particular line, at least just from my experience, but some people may disagree with me. It really depends on how you have the truck set up and where you're comfortable. So I think, other than the fact that people are going to be staying in the draft, people are going to find their line, and everyone's going to freight train behind them. So this race is going to be interesting.
It most certainly will be. The one oval circuit on the schedule here in season 34. Again, speaking with Chaos Fox, he talked about people where they feel comfortable. Where are you going to feel comfortable qualifying here for this race? Is this one of those where maybe you try not to do as good, or are you pushing it to qualify especially well so that maybe you can avoid some of the mid-pack carnage that might transpire?
Yeah, I want to try to get as close as I can up front. The last oval race I did with this league, I qualified pretty high up, and it was my best finishing position in this league. It was like 5th place with the Sierras, but ovals I seem to be really good with, and I think I'm shooting to try to at least match or better in my top 5, which is my personal best. I want to try to do better than that.
Chaos Fox, always a pleasure chatting with you. Best of luck in qualifying here at Homestead. All right, Chaos Fox is going to go ahead and get readied up. As he does that, we'll go ahead and pull in PXM Barney. PXM Barney, you were formerly Enraged Barney, is that correct? Okay, gotcha. And now you're part of Team PXM. Give us a little bit of maybe a little bit of insight who they are, and how did you end up with that team here recently?
Well, PXM, it's a smaller team, and they try to combine with other teams before, but it ended up didn't working. So they named it Phoenix Motorsport. They say it's because they rose from the ashes like a phoenix would. And I ended up joining the team because I raced with them for Le Mans, the 24-hour Le Mans, and they just asked me if I wanted to join the team. I said, sure.
Nice, yeah, and oftentimes that's the case. Folks participate in those staple community events, and Tora's got a slew of them, And sure enough, you participate, and then shortly thereafter, teams come knocking, saying, "Hey, you did well. Can you race with us?" PXM Barney finishing 13th there at Watkins Glen. How do you feel about your finish there in the F100? Oh, can you hear me now?
Hello?
Test, test, test. How about now? Okay, now I'm back. Yeah, I do see we've got a bit of a spike here on the broadcast, so I probably lost you there in the Discord as well. Finishing 13th out at Watkins Glen before we head out to Homestead. How do you feel about your finish, and what do you make of the F100?
Well, I was kind of disappointed by finish. I was hoping for a top 10. But that small mistake I made, like midway through the race, it kind of ruined my race. But the F100, it's a fun car to drive. It's a little difficult to drive though. You really have to figure out the best way to drive it and how to keep the wheels from spinning at every corner.
Very good, and that's a very logical and reasonable answer, I would expect, as we've heard a lot of our drivers give us the very same tail of the tape as it relates to the F100. I'm waiting to see if maybe we can't recover some of our frames, as they seem to be dropping out pretty significantly right now. Hopefully folks can hear us on the broadcast at the very least. Okay, so you gave us kind of your take on the F100. How did you get into the Forza Spec Racing Series, and if you were to continue into Season 35, kind of like what vehicle type would you be looking to race in there? What are you hoping for?
Well, for the first question, I joined because of SGR Chaos Fox. He got me to join the actual series, which I'm finding it really fun. And for the second question, I'd probably do like a smaller, lightweight sports car, something like a Miata, something like around in like that, or like a Civic maybe.
Okay, maybe a little bit still on the low end of the performance index spectrum. Of course, that all assuming they keep it there and they don't bump it up, but maybe an Econo box or a small hatchback. Gotcha. Well, hey, Enraged Barney, or formerly known as Enraged Barney, PXM Barney, thank you so much for hanging out with us here in the Driver's Spotlight. I'll go ahead and throw you back so you can get ready for qualifying at Homestead. All right, and on our end here on the broadcast front, trying to recover some of these frames, I'm going to go ahead and throw it into still photo mode so that you guys aren't seeing all the choppiness. And Slow Motion Fire is telling us they're in pit lane that fuel will be an issue out at this race, and it looks like we've picked up another driver. I think that's Mega Chen, who's now joining the fun here in race number 8. And yeah, the frames are kind of all over the place right now. Hopefully we can recover them before the race gets going here too long, because it'll be super choppy, I'm guessing, from y'all's standpoint. Come on, frames, you can do it. Holy smokes. I don't know. Just really weird stuff happening here on the broadcast recently. They're waiting for Modern Weapon to ready up, so nothing happening right now. You're not missing anything. I know I've just got the promo photo showing on the screen right now. Let me go ahead and show another one and give it a quick shout out here is our pit points. I just mentioned them a little bit ago, but get 1,000 of those earned by watching the broadcast and redeem them for that June 28th giveaway of the $100 Steam digital gift card. No purchase necessary, and the more you watch, the more entries you can get, and the more entries you have, the better your chances to win. Of course, those chances are dependent on how many other people enter and how many times they enter. But all it takes is one, and all you have to do is watch the channel to be entered to win. Here we go, heading out to Homestead, the Oval, for 3 laps of qualifying, and they'll take off on the track here incrementally to give themselves a little bit of breathing room. Let's go ahead and hop on board here. This is going to be Mega Chen. Throw some statistics in the lower left corner underneath the map. Getting along down the back straightaway. No weather to deal with here. If there was weather, this would be it it would be all that more interesting. And as we see them approaching some of the cars who have yet to have even taken off from the line, but you'll notice they'll ghost right through them. Fortunately, here in qualifying, ghosting turned on. That way none of our vehicles make contact with one another and everybody's able to set their lap time simultaneously. Let's go to Gotta Go Fast. They're in 5th. Right now, at least with the time, and now 7th. That'll jump around as they cross the line. AMS Udakan now, who is not feeling it after Watkins Glen with a 44. Now Audrex drops it down to a 41. Of course, that's the first lap for some of the drivers. Others are now on their second lap, starting their third. Slipstream now with a 41, 172. Carbon saying, woo! Woo! Well, I'm doing it in the voice of Nature Boy, I guess. Woo! Gotta go fast now. Heading into turn number 3 and 4 with Modern Weapon out there in front of them. Coming up to the line. And for some of the drivers, this will be it. Dior Hocus, look at that, with a sub 41 second time at a 49.89. And so far, that will hold and be our pole sitter. As we get ready for 44 laps here at Homestead. And pardon me as we continue to lose frames. I mean, I know we've only lost 0.9 of a percentage point. But I hate losing any, especially after Sunday's broadcast, which was pretty much flawless until the end. Not me, I wasn't flawless. I'm talking about the stream quality. But 21 drivers have now set their lap time. We go take a look at the results, and if anybody of the driving variety, the racer variety, would like to hop into the interview queue, I'll go ahead and bring you back in here as we get ready for our 8th race, our final one of the evening, before we roll into week number 5 and the finale a week from tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern right here on Virtual Autosports. Audrex with a 41.356. 41.325 by Gotta Go Fast, then it's up to 42 there with Gumby Greg. Mega Chin at a 43.686. Slipstream with a 41.126 to Corvid's 194. Joe Beardy also with a 41 at 289. Salty Bonkos with a 41.455. Hocus with that pole time of a 40.989. Craytrim with a 41.033. Udakan with a 41.464. I think that'll be good for, I don't know, row 3. Tam Ocello with a 43.905. Grim with a 41.734. What a nice run there by Grim. Slow Motion Fire with a 41.114. Actually, that might put Udakan even further back than I thought. SGR Chaos Fox with a 41.665. Born as Ghost also in the 41s with a 3.89. Modern Weapon is there too with an 816 to Mortismo's 194. A lot of 41s, a whole streak of them. Fox Jason D with a 43.283. PXM Barney with a 41.592. And Beer at a 42 double at 7. So there you go. Slow Motion Fire will put everybody in the right spot. And let's go bring in DOR Hocus into the driver's spotlight. Hocus able to finish there in 7th position out at Watkins Glen behind Born as Ghost in front of Salty. And that's going to show up pretty nicely there on your overall leaderboard as you entered week number 4 sitting in 5th position. Excuse me, 6th.
I hope so. I hope so. Bourne was really fast. It was hard to catch him and pass him. There was
Pack
no way I was
racing
gonna do
out
that.
there at Watkins Glen wasn't so precarious as it might be here out at Homestead. So what are you going to do, especially as I'm hearing it, that fuel might be an issue? What is your plan to maybe give yourself some clean air? I know that's going to be hard to come by here at Homestead, but give yourself the best chance to avoid any incidents and climb yourself further up in the grid order. Yeah.
Hopefully, stay out front. It would be a nice,
40
nice thing to do.
989 because yes, you do grab the front spot, the pole position. Were you able to master or muster a sub 41 time in any of your practice? Are you pretty surprised with that time, or is that right where you expected to be?
That's about normal. In one of my practices, I got a little bit lower, but in our practice tonight, CT actually beat me in that time. So I was surprised.
He didn't get you here. He had a
get
41.033 as his quick time. You said it was pretty normal, maybe normal for you, and sure, maybe for Cratrum if he would have been able to get sub 41. But what do you think it is about your truck that has you running almost a full second quicker than some of these other top drivers?
I don't know. Maybe the setup or that I've played oval track games for forever when I was a little bit younger.
You're going to attribute your past experience, which is exactly what I would do. I would say, hey, yeah, I've been racing ovals. This is my place. Talking with DR Hocus, who is on the pole. I think this might be your first pole time in the Forza Spec Racing Series. That's a good reason to celebrate. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Dr. Pepper raised high.
A man after my own heart, Dr. Pepper. D.O.R. Hocus, my last question for you is if fuel is an issue, do you have any specific strategy that you'd like to share with us, or are you keeping that pretty much under close wraps?
Hopefully, with the drafting, I'll be able to let off a little bit in the corners and still maintain position. Hopefully that'll save a little bit of fuel. But everybody was saying I didn't go the distance during my practices, but everybody's saying around 44 laps is when the fuel stops. So I'm hoping either everybody has to pit.
That'll make it
nobody
very,
has to
very
pit.
interesting. I'm intrigued now. D.O.R. Hocus, congratulations on your first pole position here in the Forza Spec Racing Series, and best of luck to you here. 44 laps at Homestead. All right, so there we go. We get to talk to our pole sitter, the only driver to come away with a sub 41 second time around the track. With the interesting thing with qualifying here in the Forza Spec Racing Series at the oval track like this, even though you're in a D400 car, you're getting around the track in about 40, 42, 45 seconds. So qualifying goes by super quick, and you've only got those 2 laps to really set your best time. And on an oval, on other tracks, okay, great. You got 2 laps, especially like what we saw there at Watkins Glen. You've got to get around. It takes time to get around that track, but here at Homestead, those 2 flying laps go by so quickly that you're just hoping for the best. And as D.O.R. Hocus pointed out, Cratrum probably could have nabbed the pole position if he were a little bit quicker, but just wasn't able to do it with those 2 laps that he was given. Cratrum, however, will still be on row number 1 opposite of Hocus. Slow motion fire up there in row number 2 with Slipstream, where Tismo and Corvid in 3. Row 4 is Joe Beardy and Gotta Go Fast. Row 5 with Audrex and Born as Ghost, Salty Bonkos, and Udakan, who are row number 6. So I gave Udakan a lot more benefit than he actually earned. He's back there, row number 6, and that's going to make it very interesting for him in this one, and that's going to really make things exciting heading into week number 5. We might have our most exciting week 5 event here in the Forza Spec Racing Series that I've ever broadcasted. And now off the line they'll go. It is slightly pitched, a slight grade there on the front straightaway, but they will go from a standing start and into turn number 1. Cratrum in the No Coast Brewing car in second position with Slipstream, Corvid, Slow Motion Fire, Mortismo, there to 6th. Joe Beardy in 7th. Got to go fast in 8th. Audrex in 9th. Udakan in 10th. Let's go ahead and ride on board with Udakan so that we could see the entire pack out in front of him. Audrex there in 8th. Salty Bonkos brings his F100 up along the wall, blocking AMS Udakan for now. And Udakan will take the high, now bring it down to midline. Out here at turn number 3 of Homestead into 4. Audrex starts running up high. And that's going to allow Salty Bonkos to cut it back down to the low side, make a run on him here on the straightaway across the line, beginning of lap number 2. Joe Beardy there in 7th, and we still see out in front, that's going to be Dior Hocus in 1st, Craytrim in 2nd, Slipstream in 3rd, Corvid on the low line there in 4th position, Slow Motion Fire in 5th, Mortismo and Joe Beardy 6th and 7th. Here comes Udakan now on the low line, looking to get around Salty Bonkos, who is here in 8th position. A double pass possibility here for Salty, or for Udakan, who is now around Audrex and now around Salty. So up to 8th position goes Udakan from 10th. Let's go to 5th with Slow Motion Fire. Joe Beardy apparently is on a wheel Dino Dado, and that's the only one I'm aware of. Craytrim says that there's a few. And look at that. They're going to go 3 wide into turn number 4. Slipstream, and Slipstream brings it down into pit lane. So a little bit of strategy coming to play here, as Slipstream says, yeah, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and top off this take and make sure that I'm good for the rest of the race. Beer did the same, and now he emerges here into turn number 1. Very scary entry there by Beer as he grabs the low line but brings it across the white line and onto the banked oval. And now side by side goes Craytrim and Hocus into turn 3 with Corvid here in 3rd. Riding on board with Slow Motion Fire, then Joe Beardy, Audrex, and Chaos Fox, PXM Barney, Megachin, Gumby Greg in 10th, and I believe Amos Udakan has also gone into pit lane. He's sitting in there right now and will tentatively fall down a lap. MS Storm providing us a little bit of driver strategy, saying that surely dipping the clutch a little on the straight for a few laps is better than a full-on pit stop if it's that close on fuel. Yeah, Dior Hocus telling us that the fuel tank may empty at lap 44, which almost then begs the question of, do you just kind of coast it across the line then too? Obviously, if you're Slipstream, you're probably thinking, well, if I'm running with the likes of Hocus, Craytrim, Corvid, and Slow, coasting it across the line for the checker is not going to work. I'm going to need all the fuel I can get. And he decided there before even concluding lap 1 to duck into pit lane. Single file formation is Hocus and Craytrim. Corvid watching there in 3rd position, just like a hawk, seeing if there's any mistake made out in front, because the back markers, they will most definitely start coming into play here. Back behind Slow, it's still Joe Beardy and Chaos Fox. Audrex in 7th. Let's go to Audrex, who's got Chaos Fox there on the low line. And it looks like our frames have recovered, and of course I probably just jinxed it. And now Audrex is going to look to the low line. That's where Beer came out of pit lane, so drivers are definitely going to have to watch for trucks merging back onto the racing surface. Ideally, they'll stay below the white line, go around not the banked portion there through 1 and 2, and then come back out on the straightaway where you've got plenty of room to merge. Chaos Fox going to get the back end of the F100, a little slidey, a little slippery, able to maintain it. Saw some sparks there. I don't know if he hit somebody's rear view mirror or if he is bottoming out there through turn 4. And it looks like a lot of drivers have already ducked into pit lane. Let's go to 4th with slow motion fire. Big J Bishop says 43 to 44, but it's really all dictated by the leader. Yeah, I mean, if the leader is just pedal to the metal the entire race, then and everybody else is going to have to play catch up, then they're probably all going to run out of fuel. If the leader's like, yeah, I'm going to conserve a little bit and allow everybody else to kind of keep pace, then maybe they all save fuel and make it to the end. "44 laps here. It'll go by quick, though, at 40 seconds, 40 to 45 seconds a lap. Dino Dado is saying, I'm guessing it's not that close. Can't imagine 44 laps with a little bit of a draft. Yeah, it's true. I mean, once you have all the cars out here and you're able to use some of the draft to conserve some fuel, then it may be different altogether, but then that makes the stop of Udakan and Slipstream that much more questionable. As we continue to ride with slow motion fire, it really is our best view, these on-board cameras here. The Forza 7 broadcast or spectator views are just not great, and this oval circuit is one of those places where it just leaves us out to dry, so hopping onto the hood is the best option. Slow in 4th, Joe Beardy in 5th, Chaos Fox and Audrex, they still continue to have at it here in 6th position with that teal or seafoam green or turquoise, whatever you want to call it, colored car of Chaos Fox in 6th. Audrex just behind him. In 8th position and quite a ways back is PXM Barney. Megachin now through turn number 1 in 9th. Gumby Greg in 10th. Mortismo in 11th. Fox Jason D 12th. Slipstream is 13th, who made that pit stop. He's trying to make his push back through the field. And this might be the one race where we are seeing the finishing results look entirely different from any of the other races that we've had here in season number 34, the first 7. The only oval here on the track before we head out to Hockenheim Ring, the short circuit, for the Week 5 finale. AMS Storm says, yeah, I'm not convinced a pit stop is the way to go whatsoever. The time loss is crazy. Only time I've ever wished I was racing on an oval just out of curiosity. Well, hey, it's great for us to be armchair drivers, right? To be like, I don't know. We'll see if it pays off here for the likes of Slipstream and others. But right now, it looks like our top 7 drivers, of course, Slipstream was one of those who was in the top 7, but the ones who are sitting there now certainly did not pit, and that may be true all the way through the top 15. 21 drivers entered this race here, one more than we had out at Watkins Glen. And Audrex running a little bit high, had to come off the accelerator. And as a result, that takes him a little bit to regain momentum here in the Ford F100. He let off the pedal, and then you push back down on it, and he grabs the low end of the apron, and that sends him sliding a little bit. Slide job through 3 and 4. Able to keep it pointed in the right direction, and now coming across the line for the beginning of lap 14. Let's jump up to 4th with slow motion fire once again. As you see all kinds of traffic up ahead, only 3 of the cars in front of him are on the same lap. Corbin, Hocus, and Craytrim. And Hocus and Craytrim are side by side down the back straightaway here at Homestead. And now into turn 3 and 4. It's going to be Hocus on the low line. Craytrim on the high side. Now he's going to bring it back down. And is Craytrim going into pit lane? No, he is not. He's just going to do a little bit of a switchback here on Hocus as they change things up heading into turn number 1 on lap 15. Oh, careful there. Slow motion fire probably thinking, hey, get out of my way there, lap vehicle. Don't slow me down. As we've got a train of cars now a true pack here. 1, 2, and 3, and if Slow Motion Fire can catch up, it'll be 4 of them all together, and then not too far, well, Joe Beardy now just coming out of turn number 4 and across the line. So Joe Beardy's got a little bit of work to catch back up. Chaos Fox, though, catching up with Joe Beardy. And we're going to continue to hang out here with Slow Motion Fire as this battle for the top 3. Very exciting. DOR Hocus picking up the pole spot, his first pole in the Forza Spec Racing Series. Cratrim now grabs the top spot, if only tentatively. Corvette a little bit sideways up into the driver side door of Hocus. Of course, the way that these F100s are, they're very bulbous at the wheel arches there. You're touching wheel arches and not door panels. Chaos Fox in 5th, Joe Beardy in 6th, Audrex in 7th, PXM Barney in 8th, Megachin is 9th, Muertismo in 10th. And it's Slipstream, who's gone up 2 positions from where we last saw him. Gumby Greg in 12th, Fox Jason D in 13th, Born as Ghost in 14th, Salty Bonkos in 15th, Gotta Go Fast in 16th, Grim in 17th, Modern Weapon, Udakan not having a great race. He's in 19th position right now. Beer in 20th, and Tamocello in 21st. They're going to go side by side, our Corvid and Hocus, back behind Cratrim as they start to approach even more lap traffic. That's going to be 21st of... Oh, no, and there goes 21st. That is the car of... I just read it off. Tamocello driving his F100 back up onto the high side toward the wall and got out in front of Hocus and Corvid. Now he's going to drop back down on the low side, trying to control that F100 as much as possible. Now Slow Motion Fire is going to have to deal with the rolling roadblock. Ocello looked like he had a tendency to roll up onto the wall once again, but Slow Motion Fire able to claim the position, and so they'll get by the 21st position driver, only to close in on what could be 20th position here. As now Corvid using that slipstream to try to catch up with Cratrim. He does, and now those two will go side by side into 3. Here comes Hocus on the low line. He'll go side by side with Cratrim. Gonna try to make a run, and down the stretch they come. 3 wide, Hocus, Cratrim, and Corvid before Corvid goes ahead and jumps out in front. He'll man the top spot for right now as they go into turn number 1. Sorry, the UI is just not working well for me there, but there's a look at Slow Motion Fire's fuel situation. 53% left in the fuel tank with a little bit more than half the race remaining here. 44 laps. And now here comes Slow having to get around Fox Jason D. That makes him come off the accelerator a little bit. So now he'll have to get the F100 back up to speed here on the back straightaway of Homestead as he starts to see the rear tailgate there of Cratrim get further out in front of him, but that's okay because now Hocus and Cratrim have lap traffic of their own to deal with. That's going to be 15th position. And you better believe some of these drivers, even though they're a lap down, they're still running. They're wanting to run their race too because, I mean, 15 out of 21 drivers is not a bad spot, and you don't want to let off and put yourself in a bad position and let your competitors catch up with you just because the lead lap traffic is coming around. Although it's well advised, you don't want to get tangled up with one of those leaders because then that always turns out ugly. Here comes Slow Motion Fire now back into turn number 3. As we look back, or I at least look at the blips, Chaos Fox in 5th. Cratrim now bring it down on the low line. It's amazing how much these trucks can maneuver through the corners. Perhaps they start to lose a little bit of speed as you take them up high and then run them down low to use the banking to accelerate back out onto the straightaway. That might be the tactic at play here. Gumby Greg in 15th position. AMS Storm says, yeah, at that rate, it's 43 laps running out at the last lap. Which, again, do you just hope that you can coast? I mean, do you just hope that everybody else either decides to go in or plays it safe, or not plays it safe, but decides to stay out with you, and you all just kind of coast together? Like, it's an interesting proposition because, to your point, Storm, you lose a lot of time heading into pit lane. I'm Dustin Moore here on the mic for the Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 4 of 5, our final week, a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on the channel. We'll be going out to the Hockenheim Ring short track to close out the season here in the 56 Ford F100. And I tell you what, this is probably going to be the most exciting conclusion to a season that we've ever broadcast here on Virtual Autosports as it relates to the Forza Spec Racing Series, because Udakan has put himself in a tricky position at this point. This is probably going to be his drop week, which means he'll have 297 points, and Cratcherim might just be right at that same number. So don't miss next week's racing here on the channel. And, of course, we've got plenty of it left here tonight. It's not over. As we wait to see what's going to happen here with the fuel situation. Chaos Fox in 5th, Joe Beardy in 6th, Audrex in 7th, PXM Barney still in 8th, Martismo in 9th, and Megachin in 10th. We continue to run here with Slow Motion Fire, who kind of has a look ahead to our top 3, and it's the 3 trucks that are sandwiched there in between the mustard yellow car of, who's that in 14th position? That's going to be Gotta Go Fast in 14th. And then out in front of them in 14th is Gotta Go Fast. So that's where 1, 2, and 3 are sandwiched right now as they come through turn number 2. And now without the draft, Slow Motion Fire finds himself at 41% fuel. If we were to compare that to Cratcherim, who's currently running at 3. Oh, and there goes Corbin getting tangled up there with Salty Bonkos. Gets sideways again. 41% in Cratcherim's fuel tank, so maybe a percentage or 2 more than Slow Motion Fire thanks to the slipstream. As they come into turn number 1, Salty's going to take the high line, allow the lead cars to go to the low side. Corbin, though, is going to jump out in front of Salty, who puts it right between Corbin and Cratcherim. Hocus there in 3rd. Let's go back to the view of Slow Motion Fire. It really is the best view of the action here. Yeah, we can take a look at what Corbin's fuel tank is sitting at. 38% as he comes up to the start-finish line for the beginning of lap 28 of 44. AMS Storm saying that Cratcherim has managed it well so far. Yeah, there is a lot more strategy to this race than it would seem. Slow Motion Fire put together quite a nifty little lap count for this race, which makes it very intriguing, especially considering how things looked entering week number 4 points-wise. Week 5 is going to be something super exciting. And now we really don't have any close battles apart from this 1st through 4th situation of Corvid, Cratcherim, Hocus, and Slow Motion Fire. Slow Motion Fire now, who is starting to reel in Hocus, who's got to go fast in between him and the rest of the podium spots, the other 2 podium spots. And Corvid starting to take off. He's got 2. Make that just 1, and there goes Hocus into pit lane. So Hocus is making the commitment to get a full tank of fuel. And now that leaves us to see what Corvid and Cratcherim are going to do. in P1 and 2 position. Oh no, and we've got, that's 12th place of Megachin, who's kicking cones all over the track. That renders the old Shadow 288 cone there in the pit lane. Twitch chat. Carbon says, leading the pack means everyone else can coast off your draft. Yeah. And so, like you guys were saying, that Cratrim has played it well, and he continues to do so, running in second. His second place standing right now may not be accidental. This could be very much on purpose. Slow has fallen back quite a bit there in third. Chaos Fox is closing in on him in fourth, and it's Joe Beardy in fifth, Audrex in sixth. Hocus, who, well, the timing seems to be a bit off, so I won't look any further back than sixth. Let's see what happens here as Corvid and Cratrim approach pit lane. Oh no, and it's a little scary up ahead as we've got two other lap traffic cars snaking their way out of turn number 4. Carryout says he missed his pit. And I thought it was Hocus that I saw switched up there. So Hocus, with a devastating turn of events, decided to go into pit lane and missed it. My, oh my. And now here comes Cratrim. He continues to keep the throttle mashed, although the RPMs are coming down a little bit. And again, that might be purposeful too. I wouldn't put it past Cratrim to say, let me let off the throttle. And there he does it again, entering turn 1. Oh, this is super interesting. If only all the races were like this. They're all saving fuel, says Big J Bishop, and we can hear it as Cratrim is letting off the throttle. He does it again. Oh yeah. They don't want to stop. They don't want to as they come up to lap number 34 of 44. 11 remaining here in the final race of the evening. Race number 8 here in season 34. 1956 Ford F100. D400 Performance Index here in Forza Motorsport 7. Whether you've got it for the Xbox One or the PC, would love to see you out here on the track. Get ready for season number 35, which should be coming up here in about a month's time. Get all the details as it gets posted over at reddit.com/r/FM4. 21st position thereof is Beer. He's getting all kinds of squirrely. As we are still riding on board here with Cratrim, we get to hear the RPMs let up as he's looking to conserve some fuel and take this thing all the way to the end without that pit stop. Slow motion fire now up to third. Chaos Fox in fourth. Joe Beardy is fifth. Audrex is sixth. PXM Barney in seventh. Slipstream into eighth. Muertismo in ninth. Born as Ghost is 10th. Then it's Gotta Go Fast, Salty Bonkos, Dior Hocus, Modern Weapon, and AMS Unicon 11th through 15th, followed by Grim, Gumby Greg, Fox Jason, Tamo Cello, Megachin, and Beer 16th through 21st. All 21 drivers still out on the track. Man, if we get 2 races back-to-back without any disconnects. Love that. Love it. And again, Dustin Moore here on the call. Virtual Autosports, the official broadcast partner of the Forza Spec Racing Series. Great to have you here on a Tuesday evening. Maybe it's a late afternoon for you, or maybe even an early Wednesday morning. Please click that follow button if you're new to the broadcast. We go live again on Friday, then on Sunday, and then 1 week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, we close up. We put the capstone on season 34, and coming out of this race, we are not going to have a guaranteed champion. So it's all going to come down to that race out at Hockenheim Ring. You don't want to miss it. Clear your calendar. Tell your boss, I got to get home. Tell your other boss, whether that be your wife, your husband, your significant other, your children. Tell them all that you've got plans. You've got a date. a week from tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. You miss it, you're going to miss a great finish. And here comes Corvid and Craytrim. 1 and 2. Craytrim reeling in Corvid. And as we take a look at the fuel situation, 16% left in the tank here with 6 laps remaining. 7 laps remaining. Pardon me. Dino Dado, he's chuckling. He's like, yeah, no problem. I'll tell my wife. I'll tell my wife and my kids. Hey, guys, I'm watching the thing. You know, I do the Touring Car Tuesday thing, but then I'm also watching the other thing in the evening. Dino Dado, great to see you here. And folks, make sure you're following him here on Twitch TV. Get all kinds of racing action from him. Forza, Assetto Corsa, iRacing. The dude's all over the place. He's a content machine. What's up there, Bear Den 1234? Good to see you again. I think this is a return hello from you. As we now enter lap number 39. 6 laps remaining. Corvid in first. Craytrim in second. Dior Hocus won the qualifying session with a top time of a 40.989, I think it was. Nobody else was able to get a sub 41, but then he missed pit entry. He decided he was going to make a pit stop in this race and missed pit entry. And I think that might be him. No, that's Born as Ghost. Pardon me, that's Born as Ghost in 10th position. Yeah, they don't have to go to 45. Exactly. They can coast it across the line if their fuel tank will allow them or require. As Craytrim continues to close in on Corbin. Craytrim may be now thinking, if he did the math, he might be thinking, yeah, you know what, I've got enough fuel. Let me get right on the back of Corbin here, and let's make it interesting. See what happens. And as I look at the blips a little bit further back, Chaos Fox is now in third. He's gotten around Slow Motion Fire. Joe Beardy in fifth. Audrex up to sixth. Slipstream in seventh. Matismo in eighth. PXM Barney is ninth. Born as Ghost. Those are your top 10 drivers here out at Homestead. Race number 8 here in season 34. And we've got a barn burner here at the Oval, the Speedway, the only Oval on the schedule. And this has been the most interesting race we've had all season. And we've had great races here. Don't get me wrong. There goes Corvid going down to the low line, trying to steer clear of Born as Ghost there. He doesn't want to get caught up in any mistake that Born as Ghost may make. Craytrim's going to go ahead and do a little bit of bump drafting there. And now Born as Ghost is going to take the high line. Don't swing down. Oh, Craytrim's probably thinking, don't tag that wall, then jump back down into the grass. Don't do it. Yeah, MS Storm, right on. Pinpoint analysis there by Storm, saying that because Craytrim has the draft, he can save a little bit more fuel than Corvid can, although Corvid may be using some of these back markers to do the very same thing. However, if Craytrim's got a little bit more gas in the tank, can maybe make this pass here on lap 44. Lap 43, next time by, they'll get the white flag. To the high side goes Craytrim, and he's gunning it now, and he's got plenty of fuel. 4% left in the tank. I say plenty. I might be a bit optimistic. It might be cutting it super close here toward the end. Beer to the low line. That's going to force Corbin to the high side. Corbin starts to slide up a little bit. That's going to allow Craytrim to close in. Back up toward the start-finish line. The white flag flies. Final lap here. As Corvid is out front, Craytrim could certainly use the points to make a run at Unicon here in Season 34. He gets onto the back tailgate here of Corvid, gives him a little bit of push through turn 1, number 2. Then down onto the white line goes Corvid, out onto the back straightaway as they make the charge toward turn 3. No back markers ahead, so they'll have nice clean air here to the finish line. Corvid's going to take the low line. Craytrim to the high side. I think he's got it. I think he can make it stick. Can Craytrim go back to back here in week number 4? Up to the line he goes. Does he have it? Yes, sir, he does! Craytrim gets the win here in race number 8, closing out week number 4. And boy, folks, do we have ourselves an exciting week number 5 on tap. Craytrim picks up 100 points here in week number 4. Corvid runs out of fuel across the line toward the start, and that's how it'll finish. Craytrim in first, Corvid in second, Chaos Fox in third. Fourth goes the Slow Motion Fire, then Joe Beardy, Odd Drex. Seventh is Slipstream. Eighth is Mortismo, PXM Barney in ninth. Born as Ghost in 10th. Gotta Go Fast in 11th. 12th is Salty Bonkos, Dior Hocus in 13th. AMS Uticon in 14th. Modern Weapon in 15th. Grim, Gumby Greg, Fox Jason, Megachin, Tamocello, and Beer are 16th through 21st. My, oh my, what a finish. That was exciting. That's how you enter a finale here in the Forza Spec Racing Series. We have not witnessed something like this in all the seasons that we broadcasted. This is something different, and man, 1 week cannot go by quick enough. Folks, we're going to go ahead and roll some ads. We'll be right back. You won't miss anything. I'm going to take note of where everybody finished. We'll get some of our drivers here into the driver's spotlight, chat with them about their race, get their thoughts, and then, of course, talk about all the exciting things that are coming up here in the next 3 weeks on Virtual Autosports. You don't want to miss the racing that's happening here a week from tonight, but then we have so much more. I'm Dustin Moore. This is Virtual Autosports, and we're closing things up here. Forza Spec Racing Series, week number 4, season 34. We'll be right back after these messages. Not getting any ads? Good deal. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much for your patronage to the channel here. Getting to enjoy the perk of no advertisements, but then also those emotes. Your vote counts times 2 in some of our viewer polls, like 3050, that's coming up here on Sunday. And then you can also get pre-registration for some of our events, like the Great American Go Left, even though that has ended with regards to pre-registration. Any of our future events where the subs get to sign up first, you'll benefit from that by being able to guarantee your grid spot out there for the race. We're going to go ahead and go to our driver's spotlight after we come out of the commercial break. We'll talk to some of our drivers, and as I mentioned, I can't tease this enough, hang out with us here as we talk about what's coming up on the channel, not only next Tuesday, but then over the course of the next 3 weeks, because I promise you we've got a lot more exciting stuff that you want to be a part of. You can't miss this. You can't miss this at all. Too much fun. Too much fun. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Virtual Autosports here on Twitch TV as we've closed up week number 4, leaving just one more race on the schedule, Hockenheimring, a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. And tonight, we leave this event, we leave these two events without having a champion confirmed. AMS Udakan, this will be his drop week, assuming that week number 5 isn't any worse than what he experienced here in week number 4. But that puts Cratrim now in the spot. This is exactly the kind of performance he needed here tonight to have a go at becoming the Season 34 champion. But before we talk to maybe some of those drivers, let's go ahead and bring Dio Arhokas in here and tell us where did it all go wrong here at Homestead.
I got behind some of the back markers and had to hit brakes twice, which let them go way ahead of me, and I didn't think I would have enough fuel. I didn't think anybody would have enough fuel to go. So I pitted. I went into the pits too fast, passed my pit stop, did a drive-through.
Yeah, doing the right thing, and that's what we love to see from the drivers out here, even though it's to your misfortune, knowing that you can't just turn it around and go into pit lane. Going back around the track and coming through again is Dio Arhokas, who finishes there in 13th position behind Salty Bonkos and out in front of Udakan. That being said, until that point, were you feeling pretty good about where you were? I mean, obviously you guys were jockeying for position there first through third, as we kind of expected. It was good. It was a good run while it lasted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All season.
If only we had ovals
amazing.
all throughout Season 34, right?
It would be nice, but
Yeah,
I
gotcha.
think I want my road track.
Speaking of road tracks, we head out to the very flat Hockenheimring for week number 5. Obviously, depending on how this one impacts your performance for week 4 in terms of your total points, that may move you down on the overall leaderboard. You going to be able to make it up at Hockenheimring, or how does that truck perform out there?
I haven't drove it yet, but with it being a flat track, it's probably going to be a little bit oversteery.
It's a flat track,
so
and
we'll
there's
have to work
also
on that.
some pretty hellacious curbs out there. I would expect for the F100, it might give it a little bit of trouble there in terms of the handling. But Dio Arhokas, hey, great chat with you. Sad to hear about the misfortune there in the pit lane, but obviously even if you hadn't made that pit stop on the first go-round, it still would have set you back with the other drivers not deciding to go in. But we'll see if things can't turn around for you in week 5. Any shout-outs before I let you go?
Thank you. Yeah, shout out to everybody that was out there tonight. Yeah,
Indeed
ran
they did,
really
and
good.
thank you so much, Hokus, for all your support here of the broadcast. Let's go ahead and bring Joe Beardy into the broadcast booth. Not a name that we get to talk to often. Joe, remind me, have we even chatted before at all?
Yeah, a few times I think. It's been back with the RS 500s, I think, and maybe with the
You're
R30s.
be able to pick up
but
fifth
it has been a
position, and
bit.
somebody was telling us there in the pit lane that you had opted for the wheel. Probably a wise decision here in an oval race. Was that indeed the case?
Oh, absolutely. I tried running the wheel there at Watkins Glen, but still definitely getting used to it. With these D-Class trucks, it's a little hard getting used to it. In the GT cars, the wheel is a lot easier, but for the oval, the consistency is a lot better. with the
Clearly,
wheel. I mean,
you finishing
clearly.
fifth position meant that you did not make a stop there in the pit lane, finishing there behind Slow Motion Fire, just ahead of Odd Drex. Were you able to conserve some fuel, or were you kind of coasting to the line there at the end?
Yeah, no, I was able to conserve. When we crossed the line for the
nice.
checkered, I think I had just over 3% of fuel left. So I know a lot of guys in practice I know were running flat out, and I knew I could stay close within the times, within half a tenth or so, if I was wide open. So I decided to opt for just backing off the throttle a little bit on entry, and then maybe running around 3/4 throttle mid-turn and then getting back in it. And I was able to stay in the draft and catch back up in the draft. So that was kind of the strategy I played to just conserve fuel, whole way through the race, just little bits at a time.
Yeah, and we saw Slow Motion
glad I did. It paid
Fire
off.
running at the front of the pack for much of the race, if not, well, it was the entirety of the race. Chaos Fox was able to find a way around him. I'm guessing you saw him out there in the distance. How many more laps would you have needed to catch up with Slow?
lap because when he ran out, I want to say somewhere around turn 4, 3 or 4, and I was starting to come up to him, but I just didn't have enough in the tank. I wish I would have stayed more with Chaos Fox. I had to let him go because I thought he was going to run out of fuel too, and I was going to hope to jump in there for that podium spot, hoping guys were going to run out earlier on the last lap, but oh well, strategy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the plans are only as good as long as they last until somebody punches you in the face, right? I think that's the old saying, like a plan is all great until somebody punches you right in the head. Talking with Joe Beardy here in the driver's spotlight. For anybody who's been watching the Forza Spec Racing Series here on Virtual Autosports over the last couple of seasons, I've always said that your name is a name to watch out for. You showed up the first season that you entered, shown up very strong, then you kind of faded back a little bit, and now making a good run here at the oval track. As we look ahead to maybe season 35, and if your participation or if your availability allows you to participate, where are you hoping to go in terms of vehicle type? What's going to make you run further up in the pack more consistently?
Something with better tires would help. And as long as it stays rear-wheel drive,
and then you mentioned the wheel where you had it maybe going for Watkins Glen a little bit, and then of course for the race here out at Homestead. Are you hoping for a vehicle that can maybe allow you to continue to use the wheel, or do you really feel comfortable on the road courses with the controller, the gamepad?
Preferably, I'd rather be on the wheel. Yeah. I'm able to find a little more consistency in the wheel. I think on the controller, I can definitely put in a little bit of a quicker sprint lap. But when it comes to just consistency, I'm a lot better at hitting my marks on the wheel. But yeah, some cars are harder to get a good tune for a wheel. You know, I mean, I think a few people other people deal with the same issues.
Yep. Joe Beardy here in the driver's spotlight, wrapping up week number 4. If you were just to kind of summarize week 5, what you expect or what you want out of week 5, what would that summary be? What are you hoping for?
Oh, man. I mean, inside the top 10, I'm usually happy. There's a lot of good, fast guys. So, I mean, as long as I can finish somewhere in there, I'm usually pretty happy. And then, I don't know, man, I'd like to get back up to the top 5 again. I know I can put the speed in. It's just a matter of matching that consistency every lap, you know? So,
Joe, great chatting with you. Any shout-outs here this evening before we let you go?
Unfortunately, no, man. Just me, myself, and my wallet.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Your biggest cheering section there is yourself. Very good. Very good. Joe, we'll see you there in week number 5. Hopefully another great finish. Joe Beardy picking up 5th position here in week number 4, race number 8 on the schedule. Now let's go to Chaos Fox, who finished just out in front of Slow Motion Fire and Joe Beardy. You made quite a push there in those final laps. How were you able to muster that with the fuel situation?
Honestly, hopes and dreams. I found a groove, and I was able. I got used to the car. Once I got into the groove, and I realized I could just stay flat out through the turns. I just sort of got myself in the mindset, just let the laps count down, and little by little, I was catching people. There were a couple accidents. I was able to gain positions that way. Joe, I was just little bites. I was able to catch him. I was able to get past him. I caught up to Slow. I was right on his back bumper. He was passing a back marker, and it looked like he got a little bit loose, went high, and I was able to get by him, and I didn't look back. It literally had 0.1% fuel when I crossed the line. So my big fear was, because I was going flat out, I was going to run out of fuel. Like, it was going to be at 0 when I went across. Salty Bonkos was in front of me. I was trying to pass him, and I'm like, wait. Draft. He had the pace, and I was able to just hang behind him. I just grabbed his draft, and it gave me just enough fuel savings that I was able to hang on to 3rd. And I'm trying to be as calm as possible. I went to yell. So this is my first podium. 3rd place, best finish.
Let it out. No, don't hold back. Awesome. Let's let the audience hear you. Go for it.
You'll go deaf because my mic is very loud. So I it's late. So and I don't want.
Gotcha.
I don't want
it was a great finish.
At me,
that being said, you said you were getting a little bit worried there, but obviously at some point during the race, you just kind of feel like, or in the season, knowing where you're at on the overall leaderboard in a race like this, you kind of just say, what the heck, what do I have to lose anyway?
Yeah. I was climbing up, and by the time I was in like 5th position, I'm like, okay, I'm at my personal best finish for this league. Let's see what happens. I just kept pushing, and I was able to catch up to Slow, and
yeah, you did. You
I
made the
finished
catch
third.
to Slow Motion Fire, put him back in your rearview mirror about 2 laps remaining in the race, and came across the line in 3rd. Not next to, not near Corbin necessarily, but still 3rd nonetheless, a podium spot here in week number 4, race 8 of the season. Chaos Fox, any other shout-outs? I see we've got Andy Dershawn, Joe Beardy, both congratulating you here in the pit lane.
yes, thank you guys. First shout out to Crimson, because his tune is really what helped me out here. So, like, huge, massive shout out to him. Thank you, buddy. And second, again, I seem to be shouting out every week. My buddy Andy, Fox Jason D. Again, he had a good finish for what he's capable of. I'm proud of him tonight. And one more, Slow Motion. Because once again, I got the better of him.
You did. You sure did. Great work out there, Chaos Fox, as I try to find some words. But great chatting with you here in the broadcast booth. And as a matter of fact, a little teaser for some folks. You're going to help us out paneling the Forza Friday Night Fights event in about a week and a half's time there on June 26th. But then it seems like I'll be chatting with you there in the booth, co-commentating. Awesome.
Yes. Definitely, that's going to be a lot of fun, because it's been a while since I've commentated, but
no better place to practice but then here
wait.
on Virtual Autosports. SGR Chaos Fox, congratulations on your podium win. We'll see you in week 5. All right, and that'll be it. That's all the drivers here this evening in our drivers spotlight. So Creatrum is going to humbly take his 2 wins here in week number 4 without a word, and then AMS Uticon perhaps maybe holding his head down in shame, not going to chat with us, but that's okay. It's a drop week for AMS Uticon, or at least he hopes that it is, and then maybe able to turn it around there in week number 5 and still pick up the back-to-back championships with Season 33 and Season 34. Folks, don't miss it. Everything comes to a head a week from tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. That's when we'll crown the champion. Slow Motion Fire is going to tally up the points here. If not, he's probably already doing so now. And once those points are tallied, they'll be available for you to view over there at reddit.com/r/fm4. And so the link that Nightbot is dropping in there for you, that's where you want to go to get those stats. Certainly once they become official, I'll probably be posting them over on my Twitter, so make sure you're following me on Twitter. Not only for the Forza Spec Racing Series and its up-to-date leaderboard, but then also all things Virtual Autosports, and then also providing a little bit of news coverage for the things that are happening in the Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon world. So good stuff there. All right, let's talk about what's coming up here in the broadcast. And actually, before I talk about that real quick, let me just do a quick little reminder. Won't spend a lot of time on this, but our Pit Point raffle coming up on June 28th, at least that's when it'll end at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And then shortly thereafter, we will raffle off one random winner of a $100 Steam digital gift card. All you have to do to be entered is watch this broadcast and earn up to 1,000 pit points. Those are those channel points that you see there at the bottom of your chat. Should have a little gray wrench. Click on that. It'll tell you how many points you have. Redeem 1,000 of them for your entry, and one entry is all it takes to possibly win. But of course, the more you watch, the more 1,000 points you can earn, the more 1,000 points that you can redeem for more entries and more chances to win here on Virtual Autosports. Again, no purchase necessary whatsoever, and the only requirement for you to earn those points is to watch. That's it. You don't even have to be active. You can just be static there, lurking, which is perfectly okay. All right, so our race here to close things out for Season 34 a week from tonight, but coming up on Friday, we have the Great American Go Left 500 practice session, and that's going to start at 6 p.m. Eastern with 4 stages of 50 laps, and this is all ahead of our July 3rd Great American Go Left event. You don't have to be registered to participate in the practice, so if you just want to test out the vehicle and the settings for the lobby. Then show up, be the first one to hop into the lobby at 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll head out to, not Homestead, but Daytona. And again, 50 laps per stage, 4 stages here this Friday. There is a mandatory tune that you have to have. You got to have one of my tunes applied either to the Ford, the Chevy, or the Toyota, and those tunes are available on the storefront. All the information, everything you need to know is over there at the Gaggle 500, because that's what I like to call it. It's going to be a gaggle. That's Great American Go Left as an acronym. The Gaggle 500 coming up July 3rd. July 3rd here on Virtual Autosports at 4 p.m. Eastern. The practice coming up this Friday, so you got 2 weeks from the point of practice to the actual race to prepare even more, although you can't do any tuning, you can't do any adjustments to the vehicle. We've got a mandatory tune, and that tune should give us optimal close racing when the vehicles are in proximity. It doesn't mean we're going to have the whole pack together. We're not going to have all 22 cars occupying the same space, but when they do, when cars are close to one another, they should react pretty well as far as drafting and all that. So let's give it a shot here on Friday, and then get registered also. So you can do the practice, and if you're not registered after you get done with practice and you go, okay, that was fun, let me be here on July 3rd, then make sure you get signed up. That event, I'm almost guaranteeing, is going to fill up. We didn't fill it up through pre-registration, which I thought we might. I thought we might get close to it during pre-registration. We did not. But if you are interested, then you make sure you sign up now, because I am most certain we will have all 22 spots filled come July 3rd, if not sooner. All right, another exciting thing, and some of you may not know this, so listen up. 3050 this coming Sunday. We're starting our first ever 3050 2K competition, and you see the PI, and yes, that is an improper spelling of competition, but the PI is emphasized there because what we're doing is over the next 3 weeks, this Sunday, June 28th, and then July 5th, I believe it is, those 3 races, you have 2,000 performance index points to use. So the restrictions are now out the window for the next 3 3050 events. You will still randomly select your car from our draft board, but you can race up as high as 850 PI, and you could do that twice, and then on your third race you would be down to 300 PI, I think it is, if my math is correct. But it's a new take on 3050. It's something different that we're doing here. But yes, all the build requirements go out the window, and instead we'll have you randomly select a car, and then you decide how much PI do you want to apply to it. You only have 2,000 of it across 3 3050 events. How do you want to use them? Use them wisely. It's going to be very exciting. Don't miss it. We have that coming up this Sunday, the first of 3 races. And we have on Twitter our poll right now for you all to vote whether or not you want it to be the Modern Hot Hatches or the Sport GT, I think, or maybe Sport Coupe. So go on over to the @VRTL Autosports Twitter handle, the link there by Nightbot. Click on vote for which division you want to see run. One of them starts out at a lower PI level, so you'll have more chances to either beef up your car or keep it pretty conservative. Or there's the Sport Coupe or Sport GT, whichever one it is, that starts out in a higher PI spectrum, so you're already starting to chip away at some of your PI balance. So choose wisely as it relates to the poll. Right now, the Modern Hot Hatch division is winning that out. Throw it all in power and you'll be good, says Blouse Inertia Garage. Yeah, possibly. We'll see what drivers do with the 2,000 PI over the next 3 Sundays. All right, so there's that. And then, of course, you know about Tuesday's Forza Spec Racing Series, the conclusion, Week 5 of Season 34. And then next Friday, not this coming Friday, because that'll be the Great American Go Left, the Gaggle 500 practice. A week from this coming Friday will be our Forza Friday Night Fights event between AMS Udakan and RZM Matt 6661. You don't want to miss this battle. This is going to be one for the Forza ages. It'll go down in history, if not at least in virtual autosports history. AMS Udakan, Matt 6661 in a 1v1 across 8 rounds of racing. And we have a panel of judges to include SGR Chaos Fox, who's going to be there and helping out not only at the judging table, but then also on the microphone. Which driver will be deemed the fastest in the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport? June 26th, 6 p.m. Eastern. That is going to be one heck of a battle. We already saw a great one by Salty Boncos and Crimson about a month and a half or month and 2 weeks ago. A great performance by those two. Let's see what happens here in the second ever Forza Friday Night Fights. Again, June 26th, 6 p.m. Eastern. Clear your calendar. Clear your calendar for all these events, all of them, to include that Great American Go Left happening there on July 3rd, a day before the wonderful July 4th Independence Day celebration here. And yes, the Great American Go Left, again, it's a satirical name for the event. Don't think that because it's the Great American Race that you have to be American to participate. Not at all. It's just kind of the Great American Race is the Daytona 500. We're doing the Daytona 500, but we're not using that name. We're going to go with the Great American Go Left because why not? All you're doing is going left. And by the way, you think the oval racing here in the 56 Ford F100 was exciting on the oval. Wait until we put them in these pre-built, pre-tuned NASCARs and do 500 miles across 3 stages. Oh my gosh. Things are they're just now getting exciting here. It took us a while, but we're just now getting exciting here on Virtual Autosport. No, it's been great racing all through the years, and I appreciate all the support throughout. So I look forward to it. As many of the broadcasts as you can make, please make it happen. We love to see the return names and faces. Invite your friends, your family, your relatives, your foes, maybe the people that you despise. Bring them on in here. Perhaps challenge them to a future Virtual Autosports event. We'd love to see more drivers out on the track, and then more of you here in the pit lane, or our Twitch chat as it's otherwise known. If you can, go above and beyond the follow. Let me start at the follow. If you haven't yet followed the channel, please commit to doing that right now. That way I know I did something good, but then also when we go live, you'll get those notifications if you have them set up. Even if you turn your notifications off, it still makes it easy for you to find us, because then we'll be in your follow channel section whenever we do go live. So start there, and then if you can, go above and beyond to contribute to the channel, because everything that comes to the channel by way of donations through the bits, which we've had several of those, and I'll read them off here in a little bit, subscription, either through the monetary subscription, an actual paid subscription, or with your Twitch Prime monthly token, that's earned whenever you connect your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. Then you get a free monthly subscription. Whichever way you do it, if you find value in the broadcast, enough value that you want to subscribe to the channel and show your fanaticism or your patronage to the channel, that's how you could do it. And all that is greatly appreciated, because then I can turn that around and put that toward some of these exciting raffles that we have here on the broadcast, not only for our drivers but also for our viewers, because we'll have a few for the drivers, and then we'll also have an opportunity for the viewers for the Great American Go Left to earn some gift card cheddar. So do know that I invest everything back into the broadcast, because I think that's what helps us grow our community here at Virtual Autosports. So speaking of those bits, Chaos Fox with 150 earlier. Carry Out had some bits. Andy Dershawn had some bits with us a little bit ago. Yeeter Fam Gang also dropped some bits in here, so thank you so much for that. And then we had Matt 6661 hooking us up with a host, Dino Dado. Make sure you guys are following those two. They put on a performance every Tuesday. Dino Dado and Matt 6661 do, with Touring Car Tuesday, and then a lot more all throughout the week. I call them content machines. They kind of scoff at that, but if you're not following them, do that and show them a little bit of love. Then thanks to Andy Berg, or THR Flip Mode, for the Tier 1 subscription. Carbon TI with a Tier 1. Carry Out dropping another 5 bomb. That's not $5. That's 5 subscriptions. Bright Eyes 2000, Dapper Turtle, Opposite Hail, Enraged Barney, and T. Milius CA. And then who else? We had Yeeter Fam Gang with the Prime sub, and Drift 06 with the follow here today. Thank you so much for all that support. If you all get any more racing action in here throughout the week, make sure, as always, what we like to say here on Virtual Autosports, keep it fun, keep it safe, keep it clean. Until next time, you all stay happy, healthy. We'll see you on the track. Next broadcast, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern, with the Great American Go Left practice session.